Here I am with a new bike from Fiido. This is a lightweight carbon fiber frame e-bike from them, while the handlebars and even the seat post, meaning that the Fiido Air Carbon weighs just 13.7 kilos. Very lightweight. It's got a built-in battery that gives it a range of realistically 50 to 60 kilometers. That's real-world range. A 250 watt rear hub motor, torque sensor, carbon belt drive, and I even have here the extended battery. This is an external battery pack that plugs into the bike that doubles my range. So I can do now with this bike a real true 120 kilometers. I'll be testing the braking performance from those Tektro 160mm brakes, what it's like to ride, and I'll let you know all the pros and cons that I've discovered of this carbon fiber bike from Fiido. So a few more things to point out with our Fiido Air Carbon. That kickstand, you can adjust the height of it. Where it is by default, I find to be perfect for myself. So we have those Tektro brakes, hydraulic 160mm. They work well and good to see brand components. Plastic mudguards, they keep the weight down. They do not get and suffer from stone chips. You're not going to have paint coming off them because they're not painted. That is their black color too. Now the rear tail light, it's excellent to have this built in, and the quality of it, it's good. Some bright LEDs within, and you'll see the frame finish looks excellent. Carbon fiber, this nice matte silver, and I can see no flaws with it. We have our torque sensor that reacts to your pedaling and gives you that power pretty much instantaneously there. These are the pedals it comes with. You can change these. I wish they were a little bit wider. They're not Welgo, they're not a brand pedal. And we've got our main power button is here if you're not going to be running the extended battery. I've just unplugged it at the moment, but that's where it plugs in, and that's where you charge the bike. Now, if you do get the extended battery, you have to remove the controller and plug in a battery balancer. So it charges both of those batteries and uses both of them when you are going to be riding there. And the rear hub, so this is 250 watts and it's using a 36 volt system. There is an internal battery that's located in the frame here, and that is approximately around 200 milliamp hours, or sorry, watt hours, not milliamp. And we've got 214.6 watt hours with the extended battery, which is doubling our range, which realistically in the normal mode, probably around about 110, 120 kilometers is what you can do. It is locked into place. It does have its own power button, and we have a very powerful spotlight on the side of it, which is bright, and this is useful. And there is even a handle too, so you can just slot that battery out and carry it around with you. Now, you don't need to get this. It's only if you want to double your range. It adds some additional weight too, of course. Front hub, quick release, both a good thing and a bad thing, because now you have to remember to lock up the front tire too if you're going to lock this bike up somewhere. Otherwise, someone can go along and steal that front wheel. The tires are from Kenda and they have their K-shields. So this is a more puncture resistant tire. It's got a knobbly tread pattern to it. So this is more, I feel, suited to, say, gravel, for like a gravel bike. But hey, that's what it comes with, and they're not bad. And I have rough roads, so it does suit. And these tires here, they're 700C by 40C. So C obviously being centimeters there. A very common tire. The front headlight does incorporate a focal lens and some very bright LEDs. As you can see now, lights the path up ahead of me really well, and no complaints. It's a good built-in front headlight to have. So the bike uses this fingerprint reader, and it's a touch panel. So you cycle through the two different power modes, so normal and sport, and then the LED around it will indicate your battery life remaining. And it's pretty straightforward, not too hard to follow. The seat is from Velo and it has a little bit of padding to it, not a huge amount, but it is comfortable, suits the style of bike. And the seat post made out of carbon fiber, and our handlebars, they are made out of carbon fiber, and you can see it right there, which is a good look. It makes the bike seem expensive. Well, it's not a cheap model either. It's around about 1,800 euros. A bow does come with it. We have the hydraulic levers, and they are using lock grips with Fiido branding. They don't spin around. Good grip to them, and those levers being hydraulic, they do have a very good feel, much better than cable pull systems. There's a water bottle mounting point right here on the bike. Gates carbon belt drive, so we've seen a lot of these. They are really reliable, up to 30,000 kilometers. Don't have to worry about any maintenance, no oiling. It doesn't have a tensioner right at the end, but this is just a pulley there to make sure it's held into place and it's not going to jump off the end. But of course, there's no gears. It's a single speed. And if you're going to have some very steep climbs, well, probably not the bike for you if you do a lot of them, that is. Onto that ride test now. So beautiful day for it, a little bit cool again, but we're in spring, so kind of normal. Getting on and off the bike, it's not too bad, but it's not a step-through frame, and that kickstand supports the bike's weight well, no real issues with it. And I find this to be a bike that is comfortable. Now, when you do get on and start to push off, you first need to scan your finger there and unlock it and set your mode there. Now, as I talked about it before, you've got the different colors there for your battery status, and then the normal mode and the sport mode. So just the two, so there's no getting confused, but then you can use the watch as well. So you can look at the watch and you can see all that information on there, or use the app, pair it up with the bike and get yourself a mobile mount. So as soon as I start to pedal, the torque sensor, it reacts straight away and it gives you that power delivery. We only have the single speed. Remember, this hub, again, has mentioned that it doesn't have any gears within it. Now, I would love to see this kind of bike with at least 3 gears, but it gets me up to 25 kilometers per hour effortlessly on the flat. So city commute bike. This isn't a bike that I would recommend for a lot of very steep, hilly areas. And you'll see why very soon when I get on to my climbing test. But just like this, comfortable riding position, relatively upright, a little bit leant over. The swept-back handlebars normally have you sitting up a bit more upright. And if the handlebars were a bit higher too as well. But overall, it is comfortable and there's no rattling noises. That noise there is just the keys I've got on the side there so I don't lose them. What about riding the Fiido Air Carbon on gravel and some quite rough patches along here? Fine, it handles it. It has got the right tires for this too, being more like gravel tires than road tires. So I do have plenty of grip and traction along here. And it's all on the flat, so it's handling this just fine. Now, gentle climbs with the torque sensor and the 250 watt motor, handling it really well. It's rocketing up this, not a problem, but it is only a small climb. But let's have a look at a steep climb now. This is 20 degrees. I have it set into the sport mode, which is the highest performance and power level we have at the 2 pedal assist levels. And already I'm starting to have to put quite a bit of effort into this. Whew. It is hard work because we've only got this single speed. I can't drop it down into a lower gear. Now, if this had one of those hubs in it, like I've seen with others, the 3-speed hub, then I could be in a lower gear and it would make this quite a bit easier. What about top speed then with the gearing? It's a single speed, we don't have the gears, but it is geared for city commutes. Now, looking at the app before at my top speed, I can easily get to around 27, 28 kilometers per hour. But the way it's geared, it's a little harder to ride around at a higher cruising speed. So getting up to say 32, 33 requires a little bit more effort and you are pedaling quite a bit faster than another bike with some better gearing. However, the way they've geared it, I feel is optimal for city commutes. And now my brake test from the white post here, emergency full brake, testing the 160 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes. Now I locked up the rear, I'm just past this post here. So that's when it's on the post, average braking performance here. And most of that is to me locking up the rear, which is easy to do because the tires are 40 centimeters wide only. So they're quite narrow and skinny. And the brakes do need a bit of bedding in. However, I can stop safely. Good braking performance overall. I'm happy with these Tektro brakes. And the bike comes with this, which is a fitness watch. Now you can use this to unlock the Fiido Air Carbon. And when you have it paired up, I don't at the moment because it's out of range from where I'm recording here in my studio. But you see the watch battery life, but then the bike battery life, you can change the pedal assist levels and you get some stats there. Now it is a fitness watch, so there's steps counter there. You can see it's counted, calories, heart rate monitor on the back of it, and a few other features. If I just scroll up, you'll see that there are a few here with the apps, settings, but then the apps itself, you'll find them. Sorry, if I swipe to the right there, that then brings it up, and you've got your blood oxygen saturation levels, heart rate, sports tracking there, breathing, sleep, and a few other things in the watch. And our application called Fiido that you can get from your App Store, your Play Store. So you have your units there, miles, kilometers, eBike guard, fingerprint reader. This is where you add that, the smart unlock with the watch, and to unbind it. Now, luckily, they did actually manage to connect this up to Bluetooth because the phone's got better coverage than the watch. And this is where you slide to unlock. You've got your speed there, battery life, pedal assist levels, trip and odometer information. And note that I've done 45 kilometers, 45.7, and this was with a full charge, and I have 2 bars left. I've just lost under half of my battery capacity with both of the batteries, so around 90 to 100 kilometers. Okay, so on to a few other points. Range. Now, Fiido is one of very few manufacturers that quotes a real-world range. They've tested with someone that weighs 80 kilos, which is a very similar weight to me, riding on the flat, which, okay, I have not been doing. It's been a bit of flat, also some hills, some climbs, but they claim that you can get 60 kilometers using the normal pedal assist mode, and then 50 if you're using sport. And I am seeing something very similar to that I have calculated. And of course, with the double capacity battery, now having 2 of them, that's double my range there. So in theory, up to around about 110, 120 kilometers range out of this bike, I think is absolutely fantastic. So the pros of it, I love the frame, the finish of it's very good. And even though I've got the extra battery that's bolted onto it, locked into place, it still is lightweight. This is only around about 18 kilos all up. And I think that's very good for a style of bike like this. We get the Kenda tires. The TechTablets brakes work well. They did need a little bit of bedding in the start there. And of course, it's all EU legal here. So 250 watts maximum output and 25 kilometers per hour maximum top speed assisted. That is the things I don't like about it. Well, not a lot. It's really just the climbing performance because there's no gears on this. You've got the single speed, and that means if you have very steep climbs, unfortunately, you're going to have to put a lot of effort into that. And some people, if it's a very long and a very steep climb, well, you might have to end up getting off it after a few minutes and just end up pushing it, which is something you don't want to do, of course, with an e-bike. So this is really for more flat areas and for city commutes, which this bike is perfect at. Pricing, okay, it's about 1,800 euros for this. And there is an additional charge if you're going to go for the extended battery. So the 1,800 euros is just for the base model without that battery. Okay, that's on the expensive side a little bit, but I think it's a fair price considering we're getting brand components, the kind of range and the kind of weight it does have. And other competitors' bikes that are not as good as this are selling for maybe a little bit cheaper. But overall, I would go for this model over the competitors there. So that is the full story with the Fiido Air Carbon. Thank you so much for watching this review.